What's up, everybody, and welcome to Weekday Wagers live on our Weekday Wagers YouTube channel. I'm your host, Daniel Greer, and with me on a Monday, it is Marky Model. Mark Wallace will be joining me here just ever so shortly. We're going to talk about what in the world happened with the NCAA tournament. I want to ask Mark as well, did he actually enjoy it? Because there were some good games. There were a lot of dud games. There weren't a ton of upsets, and I think I speak on behalf of everybody. I love the NIL. I'm glad people are getting paid, but I want the chaos of March Madness back. We haven't had it now for roughly 2 years. And so because of that, I need it back. I need some more of the chaos with more of the high point upsets that we saw, which is one of the ones that were actually a really good upset, a really good game causing some chaos. But as always, we do have our plays. I know that we're going to get into some women's basketball as well as the NBA. And then we're going to talk through the entire NCAA tournament, not as a whole, game by game, but we'll share maybe our favorite game, our favorite player, just favorite moments throughout the entire first full 4 days, the first weekend, the first, second rounds. Should be a good time. And then as always, Mr. Predicto's here. We're going to light the lamp later on with Marky Motto. But let's go ahead and bring in Mark Wallace. What up, man?
DG, listen, whew, what a weekend. I am feeling so much better. Listen, I struggled to get myself into this position. I fought that March Madness syndrome all weekend long. I took in as much basketball as I could and ready to go. I feel refreshed, a little recharged. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it was a nice weekend. My kids, who I guess if I need them to do anything in life, I'm just gonna make a bracket and then just have them give their predictions, because my daughter is my oldest is sitting there like cheering for free throw misses and literally like miss it, yes, all right, only down 5 with 40 seconds to go. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I didn't know that she had that in her. And my wife's after they left and went to bed, she goes, I couldn't take the miss anymore. I was over it. I knew the game was over. I knew they weren't going to win, but she had all the hopes, and you don't want to spoil it. But that's what I had when I was watching. What about you?
You know, it's great, right? You see that kind of energy, that kind of belief, like, okay, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. And, you know, eventually you get to where you and I are both sitting and it's like, wow, this thing's over. Let me see what else is on. Yeah. But it's that always, oh, so you're telling me there's a shot. There's a shot. And holding on to that. I think we saw a lot of that, you know, over the first 2 rounds. And we saw some teams that probably didn't live up to the hype as well, you know. And it was all in all a great weekend.
Yeah, Iowa stunning Florida yesterday was a big one. And I got to ask you, because a lot of people are talking about, and shout out to the chat who's all here hanging out. One, my bad on getting us here late, technical difficulties. I may or may not have completely cleaned out our entire studio, which we our platform here. I cleaned it out, and we get ready to start the show after I had put everything back in to accidentally clean it out and realized we have no intro outro video. So we can either push the button and go live immediately, or I need to go find it. So I tried to go find it. So that's my fault for today on the on being a little late, which I think everybody expects on a typical basis. And I haven't. Sorry, Iowa, Florida. So on this one, I don't know your thoughts on it, because we're seeing Ty Golden and the Florida Gators getting, I guess, beaten up a little bit, because up 8 seconds and the other team has to go. Iowa has to go the full length of the court down 2. They press, which honestly, like what ends up happening is we get a kick out to a corner 3 and the dude knocks it down. But do you think that is justified? Because up 8 with 8 seconds, 8 seconds is a long time in basketball to get up and down the court, especially with these freak athletes. But do you think it's just because they should not have been pressing at least that far up, in your opinion?
Okay. Well, first of all, the coach wanted to actually create a foul to put Iowa on the line so that they could have the last possession, because that's what the analytics say. The challenge that I have with it is if you're going to do that, you need to have somebody at midcourt, not up on the ball on the baseline, creating that pressure. Because what happens then is you turn it into one-on-one situations all the way down. And the only thing that can kill you at this point is that guy standing by himself in the corner, begging for the ball to shoot the three. So I think from that aspect, it was wrong execution all the way down. You got to put some pressure on the ball, slow them down. You don't want that sprint down the court, but you don't need somebody guarding the ball on the baseline. Put that guy in the middle to make a change of direction happen.
Well, even that, what I would, in my opinion, because what you'll see is it's honestly like it's CFL level of plays that we're seeing now, and the reason I say that is because they want to get the guy who wants to possess the ball, which is whoever's accepting the inbounds pass, get him moving prior to catching the ball. That way, he doesn't have to take a full half second to get up to speed, which honestly that does take a big amount of time if you're talking about just 8 seconds. And so it's like, let's get you running, catch the ball, and then you're up to speed a lot faster. You're able to get down the court. But what I don't like is, one, I agree they should not have anybody on the ball, which I would be fine with. But the other thing is I would have played more of a zone, like a cover zone. And I know we're going back football, but like 2 people up front, push them to the outside, right? And then the other side, you have somebody at the top of the 3. The other 2 people should be, in the corners, because you're taking away a 3-point shot. If they get to a 2, you want to potentially make a mess up to where they don't get that 2. But worst case, you do get you are going to overtime and not giving up a 3-pointer. Right. That was the biggest issue. They played too high up and they played the wrong defense. And honestly, they deserved to lose. I would outplayed them the entire game.
Well, and that guy can shoot the lights. He's the best 3-point shooter in all of collegiate basketball. You know what I mean? You leave him, if anything. To your point, if you're going to do anything, you do not leave that guy alone.
Yeah.
Let anybody else beat you, not him.
Yeah, I agree. But in the end of the day, I know we have a lot of Florida fans. They're very quiet right now in our chat. They're not talking very much.
It's not a big chomp day.
No. They definitely. I agree, and it's a bonehead decision, for sure. But a bonehead decision, not from us. And I don't even have I don't have a commercial today.
Well,
there's no
hold on. You know what I wanted to tell you? If we just stay on this tournament for just one more second, because I think that for me this weekend, I saw 2 things that happened. One, and this was with your Dukies, Jerry McNamara, Siena.
Yeah.
Absolutely were competitive with this Duke team. And whether Duke thought this was going to be a cakewalk and they were just going to bow down to him, whatever. I really think it opened the door, because now Jerry McNamara is finalizing a deal to come back to Syracuse University to be the head coach there. So I think that all in all, if you're a SU Orange fan, this was a huge win. You got to see Jerry Mack do well against Duke, and now we're bringing him back home. The other thing that I wanted to just mention about this tournament was Miami at Ohio. You have done every small school a huge disservice. And I'm all done with this. Well, we had a perfect season. Shut up. There's a reason. There's a reason that in high school athletics, you have classifications of schools based on your attendance numbers, right? How populated the school is. From quad A. I mean, you go down to Texas where they have these basically small universities for high schools, but there's a reason that those are there. And so if you have a class B high school who goes undefeated, that's great. Congratulations, kudos, you did well. But you don't belong in the AAA state playoffs because you're going to get smoked. I think the NCAA at 362 schools is way too large. And it creates, to your point, when you said you want some of that chaos back, some of that craziness, well, the NIL has created that, except for these small schools.
Yeah.
And we saw it happen this year, where all of round day 2, all the favorites went 16-0.
Yeah.
they've got to do something to reclassify and start having cutoffs.
Yeah,
for this tournament.
Well, I don't think it's that necessarily. I think figuring out the NIL, like how do they maintain it? Because what's happening, I think I've explained this before. My wife was asking me about this last night, and I said, what you're seeing is that the best of the best schools, their top three, that's not. There's no movement in that. The top, they're always going to have a top three players year after year. NIL, no NIL, it doesn't matter. It's those 4 through 7 guys, because you got to talk about, like, normally, like, you have a 4 through 7 guy that's fringe, whether it's a starter or not starter, that used to be like good, but like they could probably go to another school, maybe start on a lower school. But realistically now is those 4 through 7 are really good. Like the top 7 players on these top tier teams are really good, because let's say a High Point, if you're there for 1 year and you have an incredible year, you're going to have people reaching out to you immediately to jump to your school if you have eligibility left.
Right.
So you're not seeing these small schools anymore. These teams that are all seniors. They're starting 5 seniors, and now they're playing great basketball, like Florida Gulf Coast University. We're not seeing that anymore, because if you have a good year, you're getting purged. Not purged. Purge? No, purge is bad. You're being brought to a bigger school. And so at that point, you're getting paid. And so these other schools, it's like a tier system already. These mid-majors are working the tier B, but they're getting picked apart left and right. I would hate to be a mid-major right now, is because you're getting picked apart every single year.
No, your word is absolutely 100% accurate. They are getting purged. All right. These guys are getting handpicked and just targeted to get up to that next level. Within the collegiate system, the unwritten next level, if you will. Because so you bring up a great point. We've got Michigan, Arizona, and Duke are the 3 remaining 1 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Ken Pom and their net rating overall, Michigan is 37.83 in net rating. And the net rating is a conglomerate and a cumulative of their offensive rating, defensive rating, even a luck category. They have a luck metric for that as well. Michigan, 37.83. Arizona, 37.83. Duke, 37.82. There's 1/100th of a difference that separates these 3 schools. And then Houston comes in next, and it's a huge drop off. It's 34.44, and everybody else is slagging behind that. So I think that when you start talking about parity, there's parity at the top. Yes. You're just not going to find it until you get to that top level.
Yeah. And we'll hit on all that, because I want to get to what we're looking ahead to, and so before this show gets away from us. But I love this discussion. I could talk about this all day, because I think the parity in basketball, we're going to see it moving forward, but we didn't yet. There's a lot of good games. We'll talk about our favorite games here in just a second, but let's talk about our favorite plays. I know we have these up at Just a Stat Sports already. Go ahead and check them out if you want to, but we're going to go ahead and bring them to you right now. You're up, Murph.
All right. Well, look, this one I can tell you is not up at justastatsports.com, simply because this is for the women's NCAA tournament, and I'm taking my Syracuse Orange, who are riding high. Listen, here in Central New York, everything is orange. We're abuzz with the orange. They're taking on the UConn Huskies in Stores, Connecticut. I wonder if Soupy has tickets to this one. Anyway, we're going to take the total over 142.5 at -115. And you ever see a total move like this, and your first reaction is, did I miss it? Because this line actually opened up at 139.5, and now we're sitting north of 142. Honestly, I still don't think it's caught up yet. UConn is an absolute offensive machine right now. They're putting up just under 90 a night, and they've gone over 80 in 8 straight games. Their last 3, they've dropped 90, 90, and 100. That's not a heater. That's who they are. They're shooting over 52% from the field, nearly 39% from 3, and they don't waste possessions. Then you got Syracuse. The defensive numbers, they look great, but they haven't seen anything close to this level of an offense all season long. UConn's pace, spacing, and shot making is going to stress that defense in ways they simply haven't had to deal with yet. And on the other side, Syracuse can contribute. They're putting up they're putting up just north of 74 a game, and they rebound well, and they're coming in confident after they just beat Iowa State. They're not going to just roll over here. And here's the key. UConn loves to build a big lead, which actually helps us because once they do, they pull the starters, they sit, the pace stays up, and teams like Syracuse, who can score late against especially their second unit, they start to rack up points. And that's where we see this total get pushed to the over. Give me the over 142.5 in Storrs, Connecticut.
All right, let's go to the NBA here. We're going to go Lakers money line. It's at minus 125. I like this Lakers team right now because they're playing, great basketball in the back of Luka Doncic, who is, in all opinions, honestly going through a divorce. He's probably having some drama at home, and this is his chance to get away with the boys on the road and just kind of keep playing good basketball. And that's really what's happening is Luka is going off and he's playing great. They're going up against a Pistons team, which they're favored by, 2.5, 1.5, depending on where you can find the books. I wanted to take that out of it because the odds aren't crazy that far apart, being only at minus 125 over at Caesars where I found this. They're on a 9-game winning streak, so they have the momentum. I looked at the Pistons after losing Cade Cunningham to his, I think it was a lung issue. We now have them playing back-to-back games where they have won. They're looking okay. But the teams they played suck. I know one of them was the Wizards. I can't remember who the other one was, but they aren't good teams. This is their first real matchup. They're going to be at home, but the Lakers are good enough to win. But when I started looking at breaking down this game, this is where I stopped until I started thinking what's ahead, because that's really where I think of as professionals, as NBA players. They might be looking ahead to the next games. They both have an off day, but Wednesday, we have the Lakers taking on the Pacers. That's when they sit everybody. They play against the Brooklyn Nets at home on Friday. So realistically, this is their biggest game of the week. They're going to be all jacked up, ready to go. And then they're going to potentially take off, whether it's Wednesday or Friday, to manage their minutes because they're playing so well right now. That's why I look at this Lakers team to target this game tonight, make sure they get this win and keep climbing up in the rankings where they're going, crazy high. They're now at third, which they should settle for the rest of the year. A crazy moment. I'm excited to kind of see where they end. Mark, I can't believe that we have the Lakers. I can't believe I actually picked on the Lakers. I hate the Lakers. I would never pick them, but I feel like I have to. Luka's going through it, and I think that he might be playing well because of that.
Listen, really? I don't know, because I've never seen a buddy of mine who's had to go through a divorce ever like, oh, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and feel recharged when he goes. It usually turns into a smoke show. And I figure if it didn't happen last night when the team flew in prior to this game, it's probably going to happen tonight. And we're not going to see Luka play on Wednesday. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We don't see him on Wednesday against the Pacers. There's no way. But let's go ahead and go through some things that we have already. We're talking about the NCAA because there's not a lot to bet on other than basketball and honestly, is there any hockey tonight?
We got one hockey game because the hockey commissioner's an idiot. What a moron. How do you not look at the schedule ahead of time and be like, yeah, Monday after a big sports weekend, we're going to give people one hockey game.
Yeah. That's so dumb.
Stupid.
All right, let's go through the NCAA bracket. So I pitched you some questions about the NCAA, and so I'll let you go first on this one. Let's go through the first question. Your favorite moment so far through the first 2 weekends is what?
Favorite moment? Well, I think it's, again, I'm going to go back to what Siena did against Duke. I think if we're looking at some sort of parity and a bit of a nail biter, I mean, that was a game where things got nervous in round one, and all of a sudden you had people who were calling the game thinking that this might be a potential 16-1 upset.
Right.
And that was exciting. Yes, it played out the way it was supposed to play out. You know what I mean? Duke wins, but it was enough to get that buzz there. Like, are we witnessing something? I think that those moments are great. What St. John's did to Kansas was particularly impressive. I think it was especially late in the game when Bill Self taught a masterclass in coaching with 10 seconds left to go in the game, and what you can do when you have fouls to give away and why it's so important to have those.
Yeah. And so I look at the same thing. So I like the Siena talk, but unfortunately it's going up against my Dookie. So I'm not going to like that at all. Okay. Let's just be honest there. Mine was a very good story, and this is about a player, but the moment of mine was the game-winning shot by Dylan Darling of Nebraska. I'm sorry, not of Nebraska, of St. John. So talking about them, honestly, he's a guy that a lot of people don't know about. And so I wanted to make him my favorite player, but I didn't because there's another guy I love. But Dylan Darling, I don't know if y'all heard Rick Pitino call him Bells. Okay. So do you know the story about Bells? Okay. Yes. So he hadn't scored, and just kind of reference this. He hadn't scored in this game at this point, and hadn't played a good game at all. But Darling was a guy who literally said, give me the ball. He told the coach Pitino to call this play. They had to get all the way down the court. Long story short, he had not scored, and Pitino just thought, why did he call his a play for him? He hadn't scored this whole game, but you know what? As he referenced, that's Bells. He ends up going and hitting the game-winning shot, which I believe he's a lefty and hit it with his right hand, which is crazy. But the story behind it is, from my understanding, to keep it classy, we'll say that Pitino has referenced him as having the huevos.
Cojones.
The cojones as big as church bells. And so that's why he calls him Bells. And so you heard that story, obviously. That's one of the best nicknames I've ever heard of.
Yeah, when you listen to Pitino recall it, right? It was great because after the game, at the post-game presser, they asked him, had you ever hit a game-winning bucket before? Yeah. And he goes, no, this was my first time in college. And Pitino made this real offhand comment like, oh, where was the other one, in the pros? And this kid looks right at his head coach and says, no, coach, I don't know if you know this or not, but I actually played some high school ball before I started playing college. And I'm like, good for you. Just got a little gusto. I like that little edge. You know what I mean?
Called church bells. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, your favorite game of the entire first first two rounds.
Hey, listen, if the Kentucky overtime game did not get your blood pumping on a last-second half-court three that banked off to score to tie the game, send it into overtime, if that didn't just define March Madness for you, check your pulse, because I think you're dead. But yeah, that by far has been the favorite game, most entertaining game for me to watch.
What was that one? What game?
The Kentucky, who did they play?
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. All right, so I had that written down as well. That was a great game because the only thing that didn't put it number one for me is because it went to overtime, and then it was the kind of a dud in overtime. I'm going to go with the Nebraska-Vandy game because I had Vandy. I had no rooting interest, but man, you're talking about it was 72-72. I believe it was tied. Vandy shoots, misses 8.2 seconds. They get Nebraska gets the rebound, goes down full court pass, and then ends up making a shot. 2.6 seconds. The guy throws it in, takes a couple dribbles, shoots it at least 15 feet past half court, and it hits the backboard, goes in, spins around, and pops back out. Nuts, because that would have been crazy if he'd have hit that one.
But those are those moments, right, where it's been a great game all the way up to this point, and it's decided by a fraction of a second as that ball spins around and whips out.
Yeah, nuts. And I'm surprised it didn't go down. I think it did everything but go down. Yeah. All right, let's go to the favorite player. Who's your favorite player so far in March Madness? The first two rounds.
And I'm horrible with his name.
Okay.
I know this is going to be horrible. Go first.
I'm going to go Darius Acuff Jr. And so he plays for Arkansas. Yes. 24 points in the opener against Hawaii. Looked incredible. The second game when he played High Point, which High Point looked really well. I think they shocked a lot of people with how well they played. Ends up having the tournament high so far, I believe, of 36 points. He also added in a bunch of assists and some steals. Darius Acuff has been the guy who's jumping onto the map now and showing hey, I need to be a top 3 pick. I don't think he'll get in the top 3 discussion. I think he's definitely in the top 5 discussion as a guy. He's 19 years old, playing incredible for Arkansas. Arkansas now takes on Arizona in the next round. So we'll really find out what he's made of. If he puts a 30 burger up again, this dude could end up just eking his way into the top 3.
And I'm torn because it's pick a player on Michigan at this point of who's having a hell of a tournament. These guys are absolutely, they look like an NBA team playing against college, basically collegiate games. I think though, if there's a favorite player, and I'm going to get in so much trouble with the Syracuse fans here that watch our show, because I'm going to say that my favorite player has actually been the twin brothers at Duke, the Boozer brothers, who they have really stepped. I mean, you see when Cameron is struggling, Caden has, he'll step up and he'll do something, and they just feed off each other, and then the rest of the team elevates its play.
Yeah.
So I think that from that aspect, they're both very entertaining to watch. I would go with that.
Yeah, I like that. I think that they're incredible, and they're going to be incredible this next round where we see in the Sweet 16, which I want to get to now. Let's go ahead and start off your least favorite game, and I wanted to throw these up there and see if they look good at all. That's not Light the Lamp. We're here on this one. Sorry. So if you can see this one, I don't even know. I think everybody can see this, right? I think it looks good enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to if you want to go to Thursday or Friday, whichever way you want to do it. But if you had to pick off of these and the Sweet 16, which of these would be your least favorite to watch?
Least favorite to watch. It's got to be for me Nebraska, Iowa.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I not when you look at the rest of the matchups, I can right off the bat, I think offensive. Well, there's one game that jumps out to me that's going to be very defensive, but I like it for another reason. I hate these slow grind games. I think what for me, March Madness, let's get out and let's run. Iowa, they play at one of the one of the slowest paces of teams that are still in this tournament. UConn actually plays a little bit slower than Iowa.
Yeah.
Purdue, although they're number 2 seed still, they play the slowest out of the remaining teams in the Sweet 16. So that would be my least favorite, would be the Nebraska-Iowa game. Very closely tied for Purdue and Texas.
Well, when I saw this and I clipped this from the internet and I'd asked the question, so I was looking through these games, I kind of sometimes you have a moment where you kind of laugh out loud, like accidentally. There's nobody in the room. There's nothing happening. Nobody's told a joke, but you see something. And I want to ask you, when they make a sandwich, like let's just say it's a BLT or just any kind of a good sandwich, right? What's in the middle? Is that the good stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. They call it the meat.
The meat. That's what we're getting here is the meat in the middle and the bread, the white bread. It's stale, not very good. That's on the outside. We got Purdue with Texas. Texas shouldn't be there. Texas sucks, okay? Purdue has not played good all year. They're starting to play a little better now, but I still think their style of basketball is absolutely just disgusting. And then the other end, you want to talk about going to sleep Friday night. Let's turn on the TV. It's 10 o'clock. Where are your children? Well, everybody is trying to go to sleep, and they're going to be whisked away to sleep because nobody wants to watch Iowa State versus Tennessee when they're trying to go to bed, because I promise you it's going to be a snooze fest. I think Tennessee is very overrated. Iowa State should take care of them, but either way, both have gross styles. That stale white bread on the outside, that's kind of where I'm going. So I don't know.
I do not disagree with you. I think Friday's schedule starts out really hot, stays hot, tapers off with UConn, Michigan State, and then, like, what are we even watching? It would have been better if they could put Arizona and Arkansas on Friday, because Friday would have been a hell of a schedule. I'd been up all night for that one.
And the greatest thing about this, and I know they don't watch because one, they're at school. Iowa State versus Tennessee. Tennessee, Rocky Top. Kids, you're not going to get to see this game. I don't have to hear about Rocky Top. I don't have to hear about my wife's alma mater and because she will be asleep, I promise you, at 9 o'clock on Friday night before it even tips. And so at this point, I get to watch it, maybe go to sleep during it, and I don't hear about stupid Rocky Top the entire time. And we had to wake up in the morning to let them know Iowa State won. Spoiler alert, Iowa State wins.
Spoiler alert.
Let me tell you about a story, kid.
Sweet dreams.
They're going to bed. All right, well, let's go to our favorite game. If you have one, give me a Thursday and a Friday if you want to go ahead. I do have two as well.
Yeah, so I've got two on Friday. I really am excited. I'm excited about Thursday's Arizona and Arkansas.
Okay,
that is going to be a track meet. I just think, first of all, Arizona is playing some fantastic basketball. Arkansas looks surprisingly really good right now, and I think they do have a way that they can keep this game very, very competitive. I'm excited about that game. Two games I cannot wait to see on Friday. Speaking of track meets, Michigan and Alabama. Oh, my God. The scorer on the sidelines for that game is going to be exhausted when that thing's over. It's going to be like watching tennis, right? Your head's going to be snapping back and forth all the time. My other favorite game, UConn and Michigan State. Why? Because Bobby Hurley, I am done with your antics. Shut up. Sit down. Quit your little screaming. Your Lex Luthor stares. Do nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm done. I can't wait for him to be out of the tournament. I'm done.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to the same game for Thursday. It's Arizona, Arkansas. That total has opened up at 167.5, 168.5. So right around there. That will be a track meet. It's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to see how Darius Acuff Jr. plays against Arizona. It should be, in all accounts, a really good game. I'm surprised that 148, 149.5. Texas Purdue is the second highest total that day, but that just shows the defense of Houston, Illinois. My God, it's going to be figuring out contrasting styles, we'll say.
Do you know what the Alabama Michigan game?
I'm seeing it right now. 174.5.
174.5.
God, and and you talked about a track meet, or I guess the other reason not a track meet, Michigan State, UConn. 135.5. Gross.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a joke. Connecticut's offensive efficiency is absolutely horrible, and it's a weakness. And against Izzo, who will gladly run half-court sets and just chew up the clock, that thing has all the makings of a snooze fest. But the only thing keeping me awake is just to see the pained looks on Bobby Hurley's face as his team just doesn't have any answers for Izzo.
All right, so I'm not going to completely call you out because it's hard.
Or Dan.
Yeah, so Dan Hurley. And
I said Bobby. Bobby was at the other.
Bobby played at Duke. Danny didn't, but Danny is the better coach than Bobby. Either way, Danny Hurley is at UConn. So I do like that. I think those are good. My Friday is Duke St. John's. I just want to see, can Cam Boozer really step up, which I think that you can go into the interior, and that's where Duke's going to live against St. John's. And honestly, they're going to make them shoot. And if St. John's hits their three-pointers, they have a chance to win. But being a 6.5-point favorite already, I think Duke is good enough. Plus, they get the days leading up to actually figuring out how to game plan against them. I think that's key. A lot of people don't understand that. You get 3 to 4 days to game plan against the team that you're going to take on that next matchup, compared to 1 day, which teams are prepared for. Like if Duke wins, they have to play either Michigan State or UConn.
They'll play Michigan State.
Yeah, but in all honesty, like you get 1 day, they already know how to do that, and there's not much craziness. St. John's plays a little bit of craziness where you need those extra days, and so I think it'll be pretty interesting. So either way, all good matchups.
Do you really see? Because now I have questions. Do you really think St. John's can compete with Duke?
Yeah, 100%. Their defense is good enough. Their interior defense is not good enough. So if Duke can slice them enough into the insides, kind of like, in football, we've used it all day, like running like the seam routes, right? Going through, the free throw line area, going into the paint. If you can get that open, those backdoor cuts, the dunker spots, going on the weak side, the kick outs to, the deep outside 3-pointers, like stuff like that. Like those are good set shots you can get. And that should allow them to shoot more open. But if you try to go one-on-one, their defense is long, rangy, and athletic enough where they could turn them over enough. And at that point, that's where you gotta get a flip of script.
Who was the Duke's guard that got hurt?
Caleb Foster, and
that's the one.
He has an outside chance of coming back. I don't think he does.
So I did see something very interesting. Duke's turnover rate has gone up. They're like by 7 now. They're having 7 more turnovers per game since he has been gone. And I think my takeaway from St. John's in Kansas was St. John's turned it up defensively against a Kansas team that really struggled. They had 16 turnovers,
Yep.
And I think that's why St. John's was in a position to win that game at the end, is because Kansas couldn't figure out a way to inbound the damn ball. Yep. I don't think you're going to have that problem with Duke. I think it'll be the dribbling aspect, and will there be turnovers? Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think there can be as many as Kansas, and I think Duke will end the Johnny's run.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens because Cam Boozer is now being their big guy. He's the guy who has the ball at the top of the key a lot to create those mismatches. Plus, it allows people to kind of move to the sides in their natural positions. And it will be 2 different ways here. Pitino, undefeated at Sweet 16. That could come to an end. Duke has never won a national championship without beating St. John's in that season at some point. So one of those 2 things is going to continue at least for that period of time, whether Duke ends up winning it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Either one of these 2 ways is going to be continual history, which will be exciting. So I'm curious.
Scotty Too Hottie says, watch out for Iowa State.
That's who my wife has to win it all, and I don't know why. I don't think she knows why. There's no idea. No idea at all. Anyway, all right. Well, let's light the lamp. We're way over our time. That's what we do on Mondays, is we go way over our time as normal. But it's understood. Why not? We're coming off a bit.
Absolutely.
Right, so let's not do that again, and let's light the lamp here. So, all right, Brady Tkachuk plus 155, and we got Tim Stützle plus 185. Micah Zibanejad, I know that one.
Very
plus
good.
200.
Yeah.
Drake Batherson plus 220, and then Dylan Cousins plus 250. What an idiot. Who spells their name like that? All right, where are you going here?
Somebody's been kissing their cousin. I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. That's not so inappropriate. Give me Tim Stützle. Why? Because dude has been on a heater lately. It's the only game happening on the ice tonight, and the Rangers have not been able to keep him quiet in his previous matches. I love this spot for him to get the Senators on the scoreboard.
All right. Well, as we always do, we play Who's the American? Do we have an American on this list?
You know what? I don't know. It's Drake Batherson or Dylan Cut. Yeah. Well, Robbie says Drake plus 220 is who he's going with.
Well, that's not good because it's the American Batherson. American-born Canadian professional ice hockey player. What?
Well, it's because he plays for Ottawa.
But he's a...
Brady Tkachuk.
He was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's American if I ever saw one.
So's Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah. I'm not a big Tkachuk fans. I know he's a Bash Bro, but bruh.
Oh. Did I miss that? Yeah, okay. I put an A in instead of an E.
All right. Well, let's go with hopefully this doesn't fall today. I feel like I'm lopsided on this. All right, bro. Figure this thing out. Don't fall. I can't have you broken. All right. Mr. Predicto, is Drake Batherson going to light the lamp tonight?
No.
No. Let me fix my stuff while I'm here, since we're all family. Well, Robbie, I'd say abort mission. I would say pull your money out while you can.
Cash that one out.
Yeah. He hasn't been around the nose, but he's been lights out on the yeses. All right. So should we go with Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah.
He's American.
Dude, it's plus 155. It's a good one.
All right. Is Mr. Brady Tkachuk? He did sound annoyed with that question. Is he going to light the lamp?
Oh, big build-up.
The answer cannot be found at this moment.
Oh, that was a lot for a big letdown.
I think he's pissed. I don't know what's happening. Is there anybody else? Is there an American that's out? There's only one game, right?
Look, yeah, there's only one game. So I leave that to Nate and Robbie.
Hold on. I'm just going to, I'm going to look and see if there's anybody that hey, jumps out to me just real quick. I don't see, I'm looking at, trying to see if there is a goal scorer. I don't see anybody else. Pasternak, but he doesn't play today.
No, he doesn't play today.
All right. So let's go with Mr. Cousins. Dylan Cousins, plus 250. This will be the test. He is hungover. Is he gonna score? Is he gonna light the lamp, Mr. Cousins? I kind of barely have to touch it now.
Everything points to yes.
Oh, there we go.
This is the ultimate chance. If for some reason he actually scores,
dude, I will lose it.
Biggest number on the board. I don't even know what has Mr. Cousins done. And yes, Predicto is hungover. He hasn't had to work in a week.
I'm pulling up his stuff here. So he has scored a goal against the New York Rangers in 2 straight games versus the Rangers. New York ranks 23rd against the center position. So yeah, that's a good look.
Yeah, he scored the last 2 times, and then looks like he's better away than he is at home.
Yeah,
which is weird. All right, well, Mr. Cousins, don't suck today. Mr. Predicto is counting on you. Robbie likes Mr. Cousins for a point today, so we might get a point at our Cousins. So we'll see. Is Predicto on fire, or is he fired?
No,
you can't be fired yet. He's just heating up, as they say.
As you can tell by his voice, he's been doing a lot of the fireball.
There's something. He seemed a little annoyed and hungover today. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, bro, we're good. Don't wake me up. All right, well, that's all we got today. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll be back Tuesday. Rob will be back joining, but I believe somebody is off Thursday.
Yep.
Is that Robbie off Thursday?
Robbie's off Thursday. I am going 5 wide this week.
Wow. Look at you, man. Busy guy. Well, check out our videos. There are our free bets that are up. We're trying to put those at least one up. There should be one up a day. We're hoping if things work out, we're able to put off some, put up a free bet on our videos. And so they've been doing really well. So we appreciate that.
There just wasn't a whole lot of selection to get to today.
No, there wasn't. But I believe Robbie has one possibly coming up later today. It'll be his first. So right. Wait for that one. That one could be really good. But overall, we appreciate everybody for helping us out and honestly just clicking it and watching. And honestly, they've been really well. They've been doing really well. I think mine hit and yours has been hitting all but one.
Yeah. And just real quick, if there's anybody in the central New York area listening today at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time to WSYR, get on over there. We're going to be talking a lot about the book, breaking that down.
Okay. What is SYR?
That's the AM Sports Radio here.
Nice.
AM FM Sports Radio, yeah.
Look at you. All right, well, go check it out. We appreciate you all hanging out with us. As always, it is a fun time just being able to do this. But we'll see everybody tomorrow. It'll be Mark and Rob. And then Wednesday, baseball is here. Thursday, baseball is officially here. So it's going to be with March Madness coming up for the weekend. It's going to be a jam-packed entire week. So Make sure you do not miss the show. We'll see you then.